Alright, so most people don't quite understand that you can still use the Nintendo Wi-Fi USB connector. It is still, yeah, those are all basically the consoles I have connected. So you can still use this connector right here. You can have it connected to a modern machine, but what I'm running here is a virtual machine inside of, and I didn't put much RAM on it. So I'm running Windows Vista on this, just so that I can get this tool to work. So the last known software that works with this is Windows Vista. I tried Windows 7, it had some issues, and I actually only have one one actual product key for Windows 7, so I can't really use it. So I'm just using a generic version of Windows Vista, and of course the security updates will not really register. I just have it connected to the internet. And the reason why it's just connected generally is it cannot connect through any websites or anything like that. But to show you this working, I do have my, well, DS Lite right here. So this is an unmodified DS Lite running Pokemon Diamond. It could be Heart Gold, Soul Silver, it doesn't matter. But whenever you're using a DSi or anything like that, I would not suggest connecting it in any other way. So within the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection settings, because I haven't typed in the code on the actual game, I don't see any Wi-Fi events or anything like that. But connect, and what it will do is it'll try to connect to what's here on the screen, and it does a little test. So the bars go up, and it's there too. But it does a little test just to make sure the connection is sound. And so that's the connection it will use. But make sure that you don't have any other connections. But this is the safest way for you to actually get events without setting up a Wi-Fi server or anything like that. So you can do it on the 3DS too. But the thing is, the 3DS has longer load times, and I would just consider using a DS Lite or a DSi. So on the DSi, I have the same thing, and I just have. So I used to have other Wi-Fi connections on here. So under internet, under connection settings, under advanced setup, I took out all the newer connections just so that this would work properly. So with those connections gone, it will work. But if you have any connections on this from any time previous, then take them off. And right here I have no other internet connections of WEP 2, WEP 1, which is the standard version, but it still has the Nintendo Wi-Fi USB connector. And of course there weren't, not very many people use this. But to show you this working, I'm just going to go back on the DSi, back to the DSi menu. and just go into Heart Gold and Soul Silver. This one's a little damaged because I bought this one secondhand, just so that I could have a second DSi. I do need to get a second DS Lite because the nice thing about Pokemon games is you can actually use both the DS slot and the GBA slot on the bottom, because you can transfer from both the GBA and the DS directly. I just want a second one. It just make it nicer. Plus the DSi at least has a backlit screen. So on here, I also have my Pokewalker 2 that uses infrared to connect to the Heart Gold and Soul Silver games. So under Mystery Gift, I can go ahead and receive a gift and get via Wi-Fi, Nintendo Wi-Fi connection. The bars go up. It takes a moment. And same thing with the computer on the virtual bed. And yes, I've already received the gift, so I can't receive it again. But that is mostly standard with anything like that. But so what I did here on the settings is I went to the Network Sharing Center, and the way I have it is high contrast because it's a lot easier and it doesn't use as much on my computer. So I also put this to 512 megabytes just so that if someone tried to access, they wouldn't be able to get much out. So I view status of the local connection, properties, continue, and I turn off Internet Protocol version 6, and then I go into version 4, double click it, and these are the settings I put. This is all I put, and this is what will activate the Wi-Fi events. Okay, and everything works properly. So this is the preferred method of what I would suggest for people to use the Pokemon Wi-Fi events if they missed out on them when they were going on. But this will work for all DS games. The only things that you will need, so I'm going to close this out, power off the machine. Of course, you can just leave it in its current state or you can power it off, but it doesn't take long because of more modern machines. But the first thing that you will need is the Nintendo Wi-Fi USB connector. If you do not have this, then basically you cannot use this functionality with these devices. And you can use them on all different 3DS, 2DS, and other models. But the thing is, on the 3DS and the 2DS and all that, what you're going to have to do is disconnect completely from your internet. So you'll have to basically make it so that you do not have any internet going through on your 3DS, 2DS, whatever you're using, in order to connect to the Nintendo Wi-Fi connector. Because when you do change the DNS on this, so when you do change it to this, it will not work unless those settings are implemented. And the thing is, if you have that set for other games, it will not actually function properly. But if you're playing Pokemon, it's the perfect way to play Pokemon. But I would suggest the DSi and the so the reason why is because the DSi and the DS Lite come up so much faster than the 3DS. So I'm pressing the power button for the 3DS. This is how long it takes. Yeah, it's not even instantaneous. It's going through all of its processes, and then there it goes. It's up. Yeah. So if you're using the 3DS, just don't turn it off. But yeah, no, for the DSi, it is instantaneous. Turn it off, turn it on, and it works just properly. So same thing with the DS Lite. I'm gonna just put in Diamond because the only thing with the DS Lite is it needs the game inserted before you can actually use it. And this was basically my childhood DS Lite. There we go. I did have an original DS, which hopefully I can get back. But yeah, this is it doesn't take long for these to actually pop back up. So yeah, no, it is one of the better alternatives for everything here. But yeah, I just wanted to at least share that. To get the gifts and all that, this would be the best way to actually use this. So I would suggest getting a Nintendo Wi-Fi USB connector. If you can find it, then you can set up your own virtual machine and set it as such. And the thing is, you can probably use Windows XP and as a virtual machine and get it running. But there are a little bit more caveats on that. But I do suggest if you're using a Nintendo Wi-Fi USB connector, you use a virtual machine and not an actual computer, because then it has the potential of ruining an old computer. But I just wanted to share that. So if you're ever trying to do that with Pokemon, this is one of the methods to get all the event Pokemon from back then today. And it still works. And you can also make it so that you can trade with other people around the world. It will also make it so that you can use the functionalities in Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. So if you wanted to use the online underground tool, like in the Switch games, you can do it here. Just make sure you have everything set up and running. Well, I hope that's at least somewhat informational, and I hope to see you guys next time. It's Tech Artist 41 signing off.